morning, everybody. Mike Vacchi, Princetontrader.com, here with your Monday morning pre-market webcast. Okay, daily chart. Couple things I want to point out here. You can see the compression of the Bollinger Bands. Bollinger Bandwidth is about 1.6 this morning. Not quite as tight as it got on Friday, but pretty tight nonetheless. Friday was an interesting day. We talked about how the Bulls the Bears had attempted to take out the daily mid-band here and here. Were unable to do so on a closing basis. Once the December 30th low at 22.28 started to get rejected, and it got back up over on Tuesday, it got back over the weekly pivot, and then it got back over the daily mid-band. You saw Wednesday and Thursday the daily mid-band go support, okay? So every touch of the daily mid-band was being defended. That's only going to go on for so long before you get a higher high. So on Friday, the jobs report came and went. The reaction certainly wasn't negative. And after the Bears had taken it down to 61 mid-afternoon, here's an hourly chart. So you had your jobs reaction here, okay? We trade as low as 58.25. Bulls climb back up. Bears do this little push down in the morning that sticks at 61, and you get this immediate rejection. That was the point where you said, okay, how many higher lows do we get to make from here's 28 on Friday? How many higher lows do we get to make before they have enough fuel to get through 67, through 73, and go do something? Well, Friday happened to be the day. Set up nicely for us in the room, and it's always a nice way to spend a Friday when you're long and just kind of watching the market march higher. Now, in the afternoon, it was chopped to lower, but we didn't really trade it because we were done. But you've got this double top now at 77. Okay, we opened up a little bit lower. Made what you would have to call potentially a lower high, and now we've come back to 67.5. So this is what's important, at least for me. Is 67 to 68 going to become support now? Are they going to convert that into a support floor? If the Bulls can, then I would expect more higher highs. At some point, the pressure's on the Bulls today to go up and engage the upper band. The upper band's at 75 and change. They may have taken care of it in the Globex, but you can't really, you can't say they have until the band's closed for the day. If they don't, and if the Bears have a day today, and what we're left with on the chart is a reactionary candle, from yesterday, where 77 starts to look like a reaction high. What it will start to do is it'll start to look like a head fake, and then you've got potential for the Bears to push it down and do a lower band ride. Now you say, that sounds pretty bearish. Well, yeah. And the reason I bring it up is because it's one of the few setups that the Bears have been able to consistently execute over the past 5-6 years. The head fake to a lower band ride from very compressed bands into band expansion. So basically, we would go head fake up here, engage, and head lower. Certainly, that's a much taller order than the Bulls just holding 67 and heading back up over the top. But you've got to remember, we're doing all of this from all-time highs. So every tick is a new, step out over the ledge, so to speak. So what I want to see today, 67 going to hold. Does the new weekly pivot at 62.5 want to test? The new weekly pivot at 62.5 coincides with 61, which is where price stuck on Friday, and you got the move up to 77. So 61.62 is going to be important if 67 breaks. 61.62 gets tested and it bounces. Does 67 hold its resistance again? If it does, then I think you're really going to have to take a hard look at the Bears potentially testing some of the lower areas on this chart. I'm not saying we fall out of bed or anything like that. We're not there yet, okay? But what you have to say is, are we going to fall into the same pattern that we fell into last week, where we make some lows, the bears screw it up down below, solidify weekly pivot all over again as support, and then we slowly but surely head back higher. If we do, I think that's great news, because we'll get a heck of a trading range. So, I would embrace that kind of price action. But for now, as we head into the open, let's see what 67 wants to be. Let's see what 61, 62 wants to be. And if 67 wants to be support, then they're going to have to get back up 75 to 78, touch that upper band. And if they can, then maybe there's an upper band ride in our future. And that would be a heck of a squeeze, in my opinion. So some things to look out for today. Okay, that's all I got.
Follow us on Twitter @PrincetonTrader. Come check out our website, Princetontrader.com, and come take a free trial in our chat room. I'll be back tomorrow morning with another webcast. Trade 'em well, everybody.